Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Madam President, I have a suggestion to make. Instead of some of your colleagues trying to gag Republicans speaking and bullying us into accepting the board spend, we want the board to stop wasting our money. On April 21st, the Star-Ledger had a headline about continued corruption at the board. For years, the board has illegally fed itself and its friends with money that should have been spent on our students. Now you have to spend over $650,000 in fees, fines, and repayments. We all know that the illegal practice of rich meals, meeting after meeting, years after years, was no clerical error. What line item will these substantial fines be paid from? Can you tell me if the business administrator and his staff, who failed to stop these illegal expenditures, even with these illegalities, were repeatedly brought to their attention, are being disciplined or brought upon changes? Thank you.
Next question is Maria Lorenz.
Good evening. So I haven't been here for 3 years, so let's start this off. I would want everybody to say no to some of these budget things, especially cutting the special education. Okay, I think that we do have the money if we start getting rid of all these created jobs for our friends and family that a lot of board members are doing. We'll have enough money to keep this program going because it's our children that needs more help. Secondly, I don't like to be attacked by anybody on the board. I haven't been here for 3 years, and if I have to stand up for myself, I will. Okay? These things about Twitters, keep my name out of it. Okay? Because I'm not one of you. I'm not Benedict Arnold, and I'm not a Judas. I know where I stand, and I stay loyal to myself. That's one reason. 2, these parents that come in here, they have their right. If they want to make fun of the board president, let them. That's their priority. Okay? But for any of you to attack me, you don't know who I am. But I surely know who each and one of these are. And I'm telling you, this is the last time I want to see my name put on anything. Because when you play with fire with Maria, you're going to get burned.
The next person will be Wari Miranda.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President. I'm not here to burn anybody either. I don't know how to follow that. I moved here 4 weeks ago from Perth Amboy, New Jersey. I came to introduce a nonprofit organization called 24/7 NPO, and we're promoting academics, athletics, and artists to have, for our youth to have access to higher education. 3 weeks ago, I was in China and presenting to several universities, and I actually told them about Elizabeth and the diversity that it has and the great community that we live in. And that was a selling point. Basically, you know, I told them we had Portuguese, Colombians, or I'm probably the only Puerto Rican, I'm sure, but that's okay. I'm not so that was the selling point. So hopefully June 20th, we'll have an influx of Chinese students coming into town, basically to learn about the culture. They'll learn English, second language, but it's more about the culture and the competitive advantage for the international economic development. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also working with Luis Chacon and the wife, Aura Chacon, and Vicky Begoya within the athletics. And what we want to do, we have the funding in place to create a closed dome where the youth soccer is big in this town. It's amazing. I've been going to a lot of the games. And so that's an avenue for the kids to get into colleges. So we have the funding in place through some investors. We're not going to ask the city for anything except to help us allocate or locate some property so we can actually start building. Through the arts, we're working as another platform for the youth to attain higher education. We're working with Gloria Stefan in New York City, and I think I spoke to someone who has a dancer from Elizabeth participating in Broadway shows. So we actually have quick access to Broadway for some of our youth that are here in Elizabeth. We're working with Maria Torres. She's one of the top choreographers in the country, and she's also we're partnering hopefully with Disney in the near future. How much time do I have? I can keep talking. 50 seconds. I want to thank you. Oh, before I forget, I thought I could come in here and say I'm going to help the Board of Education create leadership programs, but you guys are doing a great job. I read in U.S. News today that 2 high schools are the top in the nation, and so I want to give credit, especially for the board president. You got to give credit to the leader, and thank you. And I hope we can work together.
Good evening. My name is Deborah Kasharsky, mother of a special needs child in your district. I have issues stemming from the last budget meeting, the one I saw on YouTube, that I'd like to address to the board at this time. School trips. My son hasn't had a school trip in 2 years, and this year will be no different. 1 year it got canceled because of a lack of chaperones, and it never got rescheduled. I'd like to add that I've always made it known that I'm available and very willing to be a chaperone. Our kids knew that they were being left behind that day, and that killed my heart. No trip another year because during planning time, his teacher was actually a substitute who did not know about planning the trips, so a trip was not planned. I find that highly unacceptable because someone should have stepped in and made sure a trip was planned. It was widely known that this class started at the beginning of the year with a substitute, and nobody knew when the regular teacher was coming back. This year, assuming the same exclusion was made at the beginning of the year, because my son's regular teacher was not there in September and came back in March, if what happened last year will follow through this year, my son's class will be left behind again. The superintendent's statement that her priority in the last meeting is classroom instruction over the trips. I have a question about that. To be blunt, I want to know exactly which classes get to go on trips, the criteria for being considered, and how the ultimate classes are chosen. All of the children in the district deserve a well-earned break in routine and continuous testing. They deserve at least one trip as long as the trips are being offered at all. Number 2, I don't understand the explanations for the stipends from the budget meeting. The part about being necessary for aides, for the aides. I know that kids' aides get them on and off the buses during their normal working time. I know this because I watched the procedure for every single day for 3 years. I was connected to it because I brought my son to school myself and witnessed his aide coming out every morning to get other children off the bus, and then I leave my son with her. And every afternoon for 3 years, I met her outside to pick up my son at the normal ending time of the day. So I don't understand the explanation that such an exorbitant amount of money that was stated is needed to pay these aides. But again, I maybe didn't have all the information, I don't know. I must acknowledge that our aide and others that I knew are the most caring, creative, and proactive professionals. Thank you.
Could I please ask you to see Mrs. Sanations to provide additional information so that we can assist? Thank you.
The next person will be Cristina Moreira.
You can please let me know when I'm 1 minute left, okay? Thank you.
I want to address the issue with the school trips, and I thank Deborah for also bringing that up. Again, as I did not get a clear answer from the superintendent as to how many trips each school is allotted. The superintendent said there was a fixed amount for each school, and when trips exceed that amount, schools turn to fundraising, which, by the way, is money that often comes from parents also. She stated that her focus is on teaching and learning in the classrooms. Well, I would just like to say that teaching and learning goes way beyond the classroom, as any good teacher would tell you. Visiting museums, historical sites, science centers, nature parks are all a great tool for hands-on visual learning. There have been studies done that show that children can learn better this way. So my response to the superintendent would be she should maybe take a look at that and see how all kids can benefit from learning outside of the classroom. As far as prioritizing due to lack of funding, I have some suggestions as to where money could come from besides the pockets of parents. How about no more banners? Although I do not know how much these cost, as Mr. Kennedy stated that the district does not maintain retrievable records, I can also assume from the bombardment of them I see on schools and of course in this boardroom that it must be a very high number. The other place it can come from is the money that is being held from the case involving former member Rafael Fajardo. It is my understanding that this money will not be released until the superintendent stipulates exactly how the money will be used. What better place than allowing all children to go on at least one trip without paying? Let us not forget all means all in Elizabeth. As I would also like to address the issue of the district contracting source for teachers with the knowledge of all the accusations surrounding them. Jersey City Board of Education recently voted to reject the $1.8 million extension. Source for teachers will no longer provide substitute services for Jersey City. Thank you. Yet we continue to go forward with this plan. Can someone please explain why? I know this district with all its banners should be capable of keeping track of substitute hours through a clocking-in system that would limit their hours, therefore relieving the district of providing benefits and allowing schools to keep their substitutes that the teachers have come to know and trust. I would ask again that you take a look and collectively discuss an alternative. I again would like to address the absurd amount of legal fees. In this month of April, this district paid out $856,000. The majority going to Edelstein Firm. This is the attorney our president has sitting by her side, which leads me to another question. Why do we need two attorneys to sit at a board meeting? One for the president and one for everyone else. I have never seen this past presidents do this. Can the president answer this? Mr. Kennedy, Commissioner Rodriguez in a past meeting had asked for you to provide a comparison to what this district spends on legal fees compared to other large districts, such as Jersey City, Newark, and Patterson. Has this been done yet? If so, can you share it with the public? Thank you.
Next person is going to be
Good evening. First, I would like to address the public and the board stating that I have no political agenda and I do not work for the city. I am a mother with a son who has special needs in the district. He has mild cerebral palsy and he's on the autism spectrum. In the last board meeting prior to the budget, we were told that you will hire 7 special ed teachers. However, in the budget meeting, it was clearly stated that only 1 teacher would be hired. This is telling me and the other special need parents that Elizabeth targets will not be met yet again this coming school year. I asked, when will the board invest her funds in hiring certified special education teachers rather than spend it on frivolous lawsuits for not meeting these targets? I have just met 2 more mothers that have come to me for help. Their IEPs are currently in non-compliance. Their children have not received any therapies that are clearly stated in the child's IEP for over 4 months. Elizabeth Parents and Students Care and the Elizabeth Parents Support Group are the ones that are going to help these mothers. Make them aware that the district by law has to make up all the therapy sessions their kids have missed, even if it takes for the board to hire a therapist after hours and conduct these sessions in their homes. I know this because I had a district do this for my son when he tried to shove me under the rug. You'll be hearing from those mothers pretty soon. My son and other special needs children in Livingston are part of the school system. When you say all means all, why are you excluding them? Is it fair to say that the majority of the board is discriminating against the special needs children? You may not remember me, Madam President, but when you were campaigning with Commissioner Carey and Willie Jackson, you attended our special needs functions. You spoke to us, the special needs community, and you promised that you would do everything in your power to help us. Now that you're president, you don't respond to our emails, you stopped attending our events. It is critical for these children to get the services that by law the district has to provide for them to have some regular life as a typical child. Why would anyone deprive them of these services? When you chose to go to the other side because you grew a conscience, did your conscience not consult you when you took Commissioner Rodriguez, who has a master's in special education, out of the Special Education Committee? It looks to me that he is the most qualified for the job. I want answers. I'll be back month after month to my concerns and the concerns of the parents heard by you and the public. These families are part of the community. These families are the ones that voted for you. You as president owe us answers and actions to be taken, but most of all, you owe it to the children. I would also like to address the public and the board to say that I have been born and raised in Elizabeth to Colombian immigrants. I am a product of the Elizabeth public school system. I understand the importance of being proud of heritage. However, there is a proper place and time for that. In the past, they had claimed that it's a rainbow. That's not a rainbow. That's clearly a Colombian flag. It's my flag. I'm proud of it. Es mi patria, mi orgullo. Yo soy colombiana, but we're in America. The only flag that should be hung in front of our schools is the American flag.
I would like to address a few things this evening. I have never brought politics into this board, as I am a parent and an advocate, yet the majority seems compelled to do a political plug-in or turn everything into politics and not education. Perfect example of this was our last board meeting when we talked about what the city does instead of focusing on what you do. And Mr. Montero spoke of shaking hands and kissing babies in his run for assemblyman. Our money and name is misused. I asked how can this Board of Education allow a violation of ethics to continue unchecked. I sent an email regarding this very concern, and on Mother's Day, I received an email wishing me a happy Mother's Day, signed by Tony Montero and Juliana Farina, Democrats for Assembly, LD 20. In this email, I was addressing the very issue of using our public school social media and school letterhead for such propaganda. Instead of having my concerns addressed, I am met with more political propaganda. Is it not enough that I have to sit at board meetings for this? I want to clearly state that I am the president of CPAC. For those that think that this organization doesn't exist, it is state mandated. If you were not trained on administrative codes at your board training, then when you were elected, I suggest you look at your New Jersey Administrative Code again. This CPAC represents the collective voices of parents. So I would like a formal apology from you, Mr. Trujillo, for speaking out of turn and offending parents like you did at the last board meeting. I am also a proud member of the Elizabeth Parents and Students Care Group, where we discuss the real issues that you claim do not exist. I want to clarify that I did not come to these meetings where my time can be better vested and spent elsewhere to hear your petty squabbles with the city. I come to see what decisions you made today that will hurt my child and countless others tomorrow. So to answer a certain disrespectful commissioner, no, our concerns are not addressed, which is why I am still here a year later, still talking. Such as the decision to hire sourced teachers, having seen as another large district comparable to ours has ended their contract. Will you wait to waste our money on this? Will you let one of your children be hurt by an employee of theirs before you act on this contract? The unsafe and hazardous conditions that special needs children endure, such as electrical wires covered by a tube in the middle of a classroom, no air conditioning in schools or buses, children schooled in basements. But we must not forget how many new schools you build and how the old buildings are neglected. Unqualified personnel that are hired to make decisions on our children is also an issue. Also, there is no misrepresentation about our children receiving services. Currently, you have major issues with Trinitas, who is contracted to OT services, and they're not being provided to the children. Also, there is a backlog of speech services and hours that need to be made up for those parents that challenged it. And those that are not aware, well, you get away with it. Not providing the service.
Next person will be Lorenz.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
In continuance to Maria, the child is not serviced and the parent doesn't know. So I ask that unless you educated to talk specifically to the matters at hand, that you reserve your ignorant opinions of which you know nothing of. In addition, the superintendent doesn't address concerns particularly from me when they come from other parents. As a matter of fact, last Thursday, Ms. Newmeyer was asked a question about inclusion as it related to the lawsuit from Span and ARC in New Jersey. Elizabeth came up as non-compliant and least restrictive environment, I asked. What are the initiatives for inclusion? Is there a corrective action plan? What money has been allocated to support inclusion? Ms. Newmeyer turned on her heels and walked away. It is a legitimate concern of ours. Children have a right to be educated with typical developing peers. It is also disrespectful to state I'm grateful that my children are healthy and that I've never had the challenges of dealing with a child that is special needs or anything of that sort. Thruillo made this very insensitive comment to not just myself, but all parents with special needs. This commissioner, despite several invites, has never shown to a CPAC meeting to offer his quote-unquote help. I do, however, want to thank Mr. Rodriguez for coming to see the work that has been done without any of the board members or school administrators' help aside from providing a space to me. I want to thank you on behalf of the parents and myself for your support in lieu of admonishment, as one another has done. I admit the district has been far from collaborative on this, starting from the superintendent down to the director of special services. Then again, leadership begins at the top, and it has not been its best, but rather lackluster to mediocre. We are still waiting for Mr. Lehman to advise on a date to present to the special ed committee. No answer, but we will see if Ms. Amin, again, that I not meet with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. You next.
Good evening. Every year during the Mississippi campaign, school board majority managers put out a flyer or in the newspaper, my past transgressions, which I don't deny it. I speak about it because I don't want the same person to make the same mistakes that I made. And it was funny because Commissioner Trujillo said during the reorganization meeting that he believed that we should get our attorneys from here in Elizabeth. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. So I started doing my research on the attorneys. One in particular, Mr. Marvin Lehman. I want you guys to know, he was reprimanded March 8, 2005 for negligently misappropriating client trust funds, failing to maintain records required, and commingling personal and client funds in his trust account, as well as paying business and personal expenses from the same
request initially that you please follow the rules that the board has here regarding no personal attacks on individuals.
His time count. His time count. His time count. I have the floor. He's a parent.
I understand you have the floor, but you only have the floor. So you need to we're not going to have citizens disrupt the meeting.
Okay, so his time count. So you're taking his time. So why do you his time? His time. And I know the guy that came up with me and gave you kind words, he's on home. Yes. You got to change policy. The guy that said good things about you, you let him talk long. He asked you, was it over? Yes, it was. I looked at the time, but he was able to talk. All right? Let's be fair.
Mr. Lehman, is that possible to cut off the public speaker to recess? Mr. Lehman?
No!
How is it possible?
Excuse me, Madam President, I think we should let the public complete their portion. They have a right to speak. This is their opportunity to speak. No, I understand, but let's hear it out. They should have a right to completely speak and make their statement. This is a country where they're allowed to speak. They have the freedom of speech. They have the freedom of speech. And this portion of the meeting that we've allocated, it's already 9:45. We've been here since 7 o'clock. I think it should be right for them to speak at this point.
So everybody has to be respectful.
I know he got cut off. He was cut off not by the public, but by somebody around there.
So if there's another song, we have to decide. I'm sorry.
Tell him the truth.
But the more speaks, I can speak.
Well, just so we're clear, the state law does indicate that a disruptive individual can be removed by the police. Sir, let's try and explain.
I'm talking now. Who's being disrupted?
There's nothing disruptive.
You
said her attorney was disruptive.
Yes.
Once again, the board policy adopted by the Elizabeth Board 1120 pursuant to state law indicates there are no personal attacks on individuals, and the speaker should refrain from naming individuals.
Is that true?
You're
I want to
permitted.
know what's the vetting process, because every year during campaign season, you put a flyer out about my past transgressions. So I want to know what's the vetting process for these attorneys. Okay? That's what I want to know. It should be equal.
You can't hear it with your mic. You can't hear it with your mic.
They don't want to hear what he got to say.
So everybody have to remain silent to see to continue Mr. Carey.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Trio said we should get our attorneys from Elizabeth, which I agree. I checked to see where the firm from Edelstein was from. They're from Whippany, New Jersey. That's not Elizabeth. Then you had in 1994, Stephen Edelstein was another indicted co-conspirator in a money laundering and extortion case that ended with Thomas DeLesso, the former Essex County executive, being convicted. Then in 2010, in Freehold, your Freehold Schwartz, Simon, Edelstein, and Kessler were found to have $493,414 in outside legal costs. Bills submitted were not descriptive, and block bills made it and issued to determine what was covered under retainer. Legal cash were exceeded without documentation and authorization. 30 members of the 54-person firm at that time billed for legal services. As of 2013, this firm no longer represents the board in Freehold Regional High School. In Chatham, it was sued for malpractice. Firm cost the school more than $1.5 million in mishandled dispute with the contract in 2005. Failed to file documents signed that would have been favorable to the district, dispute between the district and the contractor. The state cost $1.6 million to the district and $250,000 in legal fees. Then in 2013, Lakewood Board of Education, they failed to pay more than $1 million in federal payroll taxes. Mispayments led to tax liens against the firm. Citing high legal fees, Edelstein was removed from Lakewood Board of Education. More than $900,000 was billed. FBI issued a subpoena for contract bills and invoices. In 2014, Edelstein was sued for malpractice suit by a mortgage company alleging negligent reputation against unfair competition and violation of non-compete agreement by negotiating a settlement without knowledge. Now, my question to Mrs. Dugumaga, can you please explain your vetting process when it comes to vetting for these attorneys? I can't hear you.
I'd like to refer to our board counsel to be able to respond to your question.
No, you're the superintendent, you handle all affairs, so I want to know what's the vetting process?
This is a public speaking portion, it's not a question.
I understand, I'm asking a simple question.
You can't, your time is up.
My time is up.
Never said the time was up.
Can somebody please explain to me what's the vetting process?
The individuals are interviewed, there's a public vote on it, and they report all the information during the course of the proceeding.
Okay, was this board,
This is a portion for you to make public comments. It's not a question and answer dialogue.
I'm a taxpayer.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here
Right.
to hear you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. If you could address the issue of why Maria Lorenz, current president of the CPAC, Special Education Parents Advisory Committee, is currently being pushed out of her position. She is a parent of a special needs child who goes above and beyond in helping parents with their issues. She is extremely knowledgeable in what children are entitled to in this area and what the school can and should do to help. She is also currently undergoing SPAN, statewide parent advocacy network training. This is an organization committed to empowering families as advocates and partners in improving education and health outcomes for children. She is an asset to special needs families in every sense of the word. What is being done can only be interpreted as retribution for her being as vocal as she is at meetings. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members. I want to report that I'm very proud to announce that Mr. Francisco Gonzalez, ex-commissioner of the Board of Education, has been chosen and voted to be awarded the Edward Caddy Award on May 28th at the EA retirement dinner. He's being awarded for community service. We all know Francisco Gonzalez served this board, and prior to that, Mr. Gonzalez and I worked together at Elizabeth High School. He was the PTA vice president, and he always worked very closely with the community. We're very proud to honor him on May 28th, and we are extending an invitation to every commissioner on the board to attend that meeting on May the 28th. I know it's long, I had a couple more things to say, but I would like just to make a note here, and this is off my invitation to you. I attended a meeting, City Hall meeting 2 weeks ago, and that meeting was run so orderly, so quiet. Everybody had a say, but no one get out of hand. I think that Patricia Perkins is here, she's the council president. I think she knows what I'm talking about. This kind of yelling from the crowd will not take place with Patricia Perkins. She would ask you to be removed from the meeting. So I think that everyone should go to city council meeting and see how that city council meeting is being run, because no one gets out of hand. Thank you.
So at this time, I close the public comment portion of this meeting. So we are going to take the agenda. Mr. Kenny, can you take us to the agenda, please?
Thank you. Board members, you have on the table on the first item on the agenda is as a result of our submission of the tentative budget on March 30th and the approval of the tentative budget by the county superintendent on April 22nd and our advertising as such and our public hearing last May 7th. We have a resolution before you for the adoption of the 15-16 school year budget.
Move the resolution.
Move the resolution by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Yes.
I will be voting no. I cannot support a resolution that does not cut attorney fees, that continues to use source for teachers, that is cutting back on our police. I'd like to see additional line items in this new year. I'd also like a plan to fix our older schools that don't have air conditioning, that need plumbing work, that need bathrooms, that need just day-to-day care. I was not a part of creating this. I cannot vote yes for it.
Mr. Hoyer, we are not reducing any of the services provided by our Elizabeth Police Department.
We will not be cutting back on any police services.
We are not cutting back on police services.
Thank you.
Yes.
What was that change? What was that change?
There's no reduction for the good services for the police department budget.
Oh,
No, there is no reduction. That's no.
Any other comments? I would like to say a few words before the voting. The process of putting together a budget for a school district is not one that is taken lightly, especially when that process impacts the life of so many people and the ability to carry out our responsibility of educating our children. Our superintendent, Ms. Kirumayo, and her team of administrators have spent countless hours, many times until the wee hours of the morning, making calculations, reviewing department expenditures, and the level of service required to meet the demands and challenges of all of our present students and the projected increase in enrollment. In the last few years, this district, Elizabeth, has suffered through a combined zero increase in state and federal aid, while experiencing a student body growth of approximately 1,000 students per year, requiring an increase in teachers to meet instructional demands and needs, and increases in costs to meet the state and federal obligations of this district. This combination of opposing forces was met with fiscally prudent and responsible decisions that resulted reducing the Elizabeth Public School expenditures by $38 million for the 2015-2016 school year. The same prudent and responsible decisions led to increase the percentage of dollars going to instruction from 77% to 79%. While decreasing our operational costs from 19 to 17%. Let me repeat it. The same prudent and responsible decisions led to increase the percentage of dollars going to instruction from 77% to 79%, while decreasing our operational costs from 19 to 70%. This number reflects a concerted effort by the superintendent and this board to consider the fiscal impact of this decision on educators, support staff, and students and taxpayers. In comparison to the city of Elizabeth, the budget, where the tax levy has increased 18 times in the last 18 years, the Elizabeth Public School levy has only increased 5 times in those same 18 years. While these 5 increases has led the Elizabeth Public School tax levy to increase by 56%. Those 18 increases by the city of Elizabeth has led to a 265% increase. Considering these challenging and difficult decisions, it is disingenuous at best and the political ploy at worst for any elected official whether part of this board or the city of Elizabeth, to criticize this budget that we are here to vote on. To my colleagues on this board, let me remind you that we were elected and took a strong oath to guide the Elizabeth Public Schools to provide the best education possible for the children of Elizabeth. Upholding that oath includes being fiscally prudent and responsible to the educators, to the support staff, to the students and taxpayers of Elizabeth. And this budget accomplishes that. And for the last, I want to thank Ms. Hugo Meyer, Mr. Kennedy, Dr. Green, and the entire administrative team that works diligently on this budget. Roll call, please. No.
Castilla.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nera. Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Before I vote, I just want to...
No, we close the polls as before, so we are voting.
Before I vote, I just want to let you know.
We are voting.
Before I vote...
We are voting.
Commissioner, we're in roll call. Commissioner comments, we're in call for commission.
So,
You know the procedure of the council.
continue, Mr. Carey, continue, please, the report.
Rodriguez.
Before I vote, I just want to let you know.
Yes.
Yes. So,
I think we went to court.
we are, I'm
and the
sorry,
judge agreed that my vote counts.
at this point,
I'm recording your vote as a no.
I didn't even
okay. So we are going to
Excuse me, how can you record a vote that I didn't register?
take them to court. They got the money.
So before I vote, I just wanted to let the public know that we're raising the tax levy.
Mr. Rodriguez, that's uncalled for, and you're being out of order here.
And the only thing...
Mr. Rodriguez, you're out of order. It's a roll call.
The time for comments is already passed. We're in the middle of a roll call, and you have to vote yes, no, or abstain.
And the only thing that's going to...
I'm sorry.
Sir Reed, you're out of order. You not understand what out of order is.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to move that 2A, please.
In the past, board members are allowed to speak.
I'd like to move that 2A, please. It's third and second.
Okay, move by Mr. Trujillo. Second by Mr. Pereira.
Yes.
Any comments?
So, I'm going to have to vote no.
Any other comments?
I can comment now?
We're on 2A, is that right?
Now we're moving on to the approval of the minutes. Board meeting March 30th and April 16th.
Move the minutes, second.
Moved by Commissioner Pereira, second by Commissioner Trujillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castilla. Montero.
Yes.
Nera.
This is the minutes, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pereira. Rodriguez.
I was caught off, I couldn't even make comments. Could we make sure that the February minutes that we did approve are online? I didn't see them. Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Acceptance of the monthly certification and treasurer's report.
Move the report by Commissioner Pereira, second by Commissioner Castillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho. Castilla.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yes. We are doing 10 minutes recess. I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I'm sorry. We are doing a 10 minutes recess.
You calling for 10 minutes?
Yes. No roll call?
For that, for recess.
For recess?
You okay? Montero. Nera. Ferrer. Rodriguez. Amin.
He already knew that. He just wanted to take a Can we get over here? I like las piernas abiertas. I was like, oh yeah. So fish for the
They are standing tall for their mom and saluting her and doing the work that she put forth. She was a teacher in business education. She passed away March 27th. And Susan M. Valerino, teacher in the 4th grade, who died December 12th, 2014, and I believe that was school 22, I believe, or school 30? School 22, Valerino was school 20, school 16, I'm sorry, school 16. So if we can give them a moment of silence, these are some of our unsung heroes who we've lost here in this district, who had a great impact on this district. As you know, it takes a village to raise our children, and all of them had a unique approach as to how to do a conservative grow here in the district. So I just want to give them a moment of silence.
Any other comments? Wow.
Thank you for the moment of silence.
That was rude. Oh,
that was rude.
I said moment of silence for them. That's what I said.
Wow.
Thank you, everyone.
Any other comments? Roll call.
Carvalho.
Yes, to everything except for I am abstaining on Anthony DeFonts, voting for Mike Carey. Do that again? I'm abstaining from Anthony DeFonts, Marie Guiducci, Carly Kennedy, and yes to everything else.
Thank you. Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Ferrer. Rodriguez.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a concern. I just feel the superintendent. Some of this, 2A maybe behind this. I just noticed this now. It says tab 2A and it goes all the way up to page 51 and 57. Okay, it does tie back to all of these. Oh, just the salary. Not the other. Okay, just the salary. Okay, yes, thank you.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab number 3, tuition report.
Move the report.
Second.
Move the report by Commissioner Castillo, second by Commissioner Trujillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Cavalla.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Four A, considerations.
Move the report.
Move the report by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Cavalla.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab 4B, the use of facilities, as always, the administration recommends the waiver of facility fees, but for this one, the board might want to consider waiving all fees.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy, you're stating about tab 4B?
4B.
Oh, 4B.
Second. Move the report by Commissioner Pereira, second by Commissioner Castillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Cavalla.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab 4B is use of facility with usage fees.
Move the report. Second.
Move the report by Commissioner Pereira, second by Commissioner Trujillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Cavalla.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
4C, field trips.
Approve the trips.
Move by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Castillo. Any comments?
Madam President,
Mr. Trujillo.
I didn't get an opportunity to say it earlier, I want to address it now. I believe, I forget the committee assignments, who's chairing Ed Matters? Is that you, Mr. Newman?
Yes.
If I may suggest that we take the committee and discuss the questions that were brought up today about the field trips, to make sure that no classroom goes without the opportunity of getting a class trip, if that's the case. I don't know whether that's the case, but maybe we can go back to the committee and discuss how we can better handle that so it doesn't happen. Is that okay with you?
That's fine. I believe the superintendent, I'm waiting for them to schedule an manager meeting so that we can move on a number of issues here in the district that we can discuss it throughout the year.
Just for clarification with regard to the questions that arose in regard to field trips in the budget, we have allocated amount per pupil. That is not in the individual schools' budgets. It's actually in the central office. It's budgeted through transportation. So the allotment, there's an allotment per student that is in the budget, but I would gladly provide further details with regard to the breakdown by school to show that there is an amount per pupil.
My concern was the parents' allegations that there not being a permanent teacher, the lack of planning. I know that could be a possibility. It's a large district. Sometimes we find ourselves with a substitute covering a class, and that would bring a burden to the children if they weren't part of the plan. The other is the lack of chaperones, which I think is, that's a parent problem, quite frankly. I think that we have to do a better job of perhaps finding a way to recruit within the schools to have these chaperones. You know, there shouldn't be a reason to cancel class trip because no one is going to take the time out of their day to go to a Turtleback Zoo or to some museum with a bunch of fifth graders or first graders or whatever it may be. I think that's, you know, if that happened, that's very sad. But we can discuss all this in committee and perhaps find a solution to how we can address that.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero. Nara.
Yes.
Pereira. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab number 5, authorization report.
Move the report.
Move the report by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero. Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab 5A, supplemental authorization report.
Move the report.
Move the report by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Tab number 6, authorization to pay vouchers.
Pay the vouchers.
Pass, moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
No to 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and yes to everything.
Bad move.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Abstain on number 1, 6, 7, 9, and 12. Fine, everything else.
Nara.
Yes, everything except for 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8.
3, 4, 5, 7, 8, did you say, Mr. Nara?
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes, with a no on 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
Richard, Mr. Cameos on provisions number 10.
So number 7 did not pass, and all the others did pass. 6A, transfer of funds.
Transfer the funds.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
7, award of contracts.
Award the contracts.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Thank you. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
8, communications, there are none. 9 claims lists.
Pay the claims. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes to everything except for my no vote in 6.
Thank you. Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Skip. What?
Claims list.
Claims list? Well, once I abstain on the, tab 6, the vouchers, one stand on those on the claims list.
Thank you.
Item.
Nara.
Yes, except for the items that I voted no or tab 6.
Thank you. Pereira. Rodriguez.
Yes, and no to the ones that I said we do on tab 6.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
So the corresponding one on number 7 on tab 6 did not pass on this one.
What did pass,
Pertaining to currency and conduct. Resolution, tab number 10, payment of unused sick days.
Pay the date. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Pereira. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Tennessee first.
Tab number 10, the first resolution.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero. Nara.
Yes.
Pereira. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
10A, payment for unused vacation days.
Move the resolution.
Second. Move the resolution by Commissioner Maron, second by Commissioner Castillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
10C, resolution for Union County Ed Services Commission 1516 Special Ed Tuition Contract.
Move the resolution.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Pereira, second by Commissioner Castillo. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
10D, Union County Educational Services Commission tuition agreement for the alternative high school.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Castillo, second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Castillo.
Yes.
Montero.
Yes.
Nara.
Yes.
Pereira.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes.
Amin.
Yes.
We have the second reading of new revised policies and exhibits and bylaws. Exhibit 1330, use of facilities. Policy 4115, supervision. Policy 4123, classroom assistance. Policy 4222, non-instructional aid. Policy 5141.21, administering medication. Exhibit 5141.21, administration of medication. Exhibit 5141.21, medication administrative order, permission form. Exhibit 5141.21, self-medication, permission form. Policy 6145.1/6145.2, intramural competition, teacher scholastic competition, and bylaw 9271.1, board member use of internet, social networks, and other forms of electronic communication, and a resolution for adoption.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Trujillo.
I move to table file code 9271.1.
So we are tabling 5141,
9271.1.
927141. But moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Monteiro. Any comments? No comments, but okay.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes.
Montero, Nera.
This is for 9271.1, or this is for?
Just 9271.
9271.
Yes.
Pereira. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trujillo.
Yes. Yes.
So voting on the remainder, resolution for the remainder policies that and exhibits that are ready for.
Move the remainder.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Carey. Any comments?
Yes, Madam President?
Yes.
Thank you. I just want to commend the use of facilities. I'm going to make a comment on that, which is 1330. I know this, we amended, especially the last sentence. This was a few years in the making, and I want to commend my fellow board members. I know it was mostly out of soccer fields, but that were left sometimes in disarray. So I just want to commend my fellow colleagues and working together to put that last piece in where we can go after certain entities if they damage our fields or our schools above and beyond normal wear and tear. So I just want to appreciate, I know at times it seems like we're at odds for many things, but we all do have what we at least personally think is best in life. So thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes.
Montero, Nera, Pereira, Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trujillo,
Yes.
Yes.
And that's resolution for Union County Ed Services Commission to amend the tuition contract agreement for the alternative high school in 14-15.
Move the resolution. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Carey, second by Commissioner Monteiro. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes.
Montero,
Yes.
Nera,
Yes.
Pereira,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trujillo,
Yes.
Yes.
A resolution for Union County Ed Services Commission provision of environmental safety program for the 15-16 school year.
Move the resolution. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Carey, second by Commissioner Monteiro. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Castillo,
Yes.
Montero, Nera,
Yes.
Pereira,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trujillo,
Yes.
Yes.
and that concludes the agenda.
So we are going, the President requests a motion to go into private session to consider matters obtained under the Open Public Meeting Act, specifically for discussion of personnel, specifically AB, KE, EL, YQ, KB, EH, and RC. Reorganization, revised job, and description. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying assault, and worker compensation claim, specifically JD. The board will reconvene in public to take formal action.
Motion to go into private. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Trujillo, second by Commissioner Rodriguez. Roll call, please.
Carvalho, Castillo, Montero, Nera, Yes. Vicky.
Yes.
Yes. What we are going to try